Welcome back to Did It Work? My name is Nina. We're going to make a semi-homemade chicken noodle soup because I just don't have the patience to wait 2 hours for a nice broth. So I am using a rotisserie chicken. So this is our shortcut. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off by cutting up 2 stalks of celery and 2 or 3 sticks of carrots. As you can clearly hear, I am sick. My voice is pretty much gone. I've had a really bad cold for a little while, and I've been wanting some chicken noodle soup, but I haven't been wanting to go out to the store because I've been so sick. So I finally got well enough to make it to the store, and I got my chicken noodle soup. Now, I love homemade chicken noodle soup when I'm sick. And if anybody in my house is sick, or if I'm dating somebody and they're sick, I will make this homemade chicken noodle soup. I normally will also make a cornbread with it. I didn't have the energy to do it this time. So no cornbread for me, but I did get the chicken noodle soup. As you can still hear, my voice is going in and out, and I'm doing a voiceover because my voice was so horrible when I was filming. I thought a voiceover would be better, and believe it or not, this is actually better. So I'm finishing cutting up the celery and carrots, and I'm going to put them in a nice little lines on the cutting board to make an easy transfer to the pot when I go to the stove. So next I'm at the stove and I've got my soup pot, and I'm putting my fire on medium high or high, and I'm adding water. I'm just putting enough water in there, about 3/4 of the way in the pan. I'm putting my chopped vegetables in there. I've got my chicken bouillon that I'm putting in there, and I'm putting quite a bit in there because I want this water to be seasoned. You can also use chicken broth if you like. Now I'm getting my rotisserie chicken, and I'm putting the whole thing in there. Yeah, it probably would have been better if I would have cut it up into quarters or something before I put it in the pan, but I honestly thought the whole thing would fit in the pan and I could just put on the lid. So put it on a cutting board, just do a rough cut in quarters and then stick it in there. I took out that middle neck bone or whatever it was. I don't know what it is. And I'm laying it in there. I'm leaving the skin on it because I want the flavor of that rotisserie rub to come through in the water. And look, I even left the string on there. I didn't even untie the thing. So yeah, I will come back once I get this thing cut in there and into the pan so you don't have to see me struggle. Okay, so I've got it pretty much cut down. And now I'm just laying it down a little bit. So I'm cutting that breast so it lays flat. And then I'm going to maneuver it around in there and make sure it just lays right. Pull it apart with my hand because I don't need the knife anymore, and just lay it into the water a little bit. Then after I get all of that done, I'm going to get a bay leaf, and I just stuck one bay leaf in there. You can stick more than one if you like, but for me, I just needed one bay leaf because again, the chicken's already cooked and seasoned. So now I've decided to go ahead and add a little bit more chicken bouillon in there. I only had 1 cube in it, so it wasn't a lot, but it still brings a little bit of flavor. I put the lid on it, and then remember, I have a shallot in the refrigerator, so I might as well go ahead and use it, especially before it goes bad. If I would have thought about it before, I would have sauteed it to give it a little bit of, excuse me, caramelization on it, but I didn't, so it's okay. Now, you guys do not understand how excited I am about having this soup. It took me 2 days to be able to go to the store, actually 3 days to be able to go to the store because I don't like going to the store really sick because you're around food. And I love soups, and we're in fall and soup season. And so you guys are going to see more soup and soupish recipes coming through because this is exciting for me. So it looks like now I'm opening the lid to go ahead and put in a shallot that I just cut up. And I'm giving it a little bit of a stir and get that around there because I'm just wanting all those flavors to start making a broth from all the different flavors from the rotisserie spices, the chicken bouillon, the onion, shallot, or sorry, the carrots and the celery. And I just want it to just be a flavor bomb because that's what I'm really, really looking for. So it's been simmering for a good say 20 minutes probably. You don't have to let it cook that long. I'm just really trying to get depth of flavor. Now I'm going to take the skin off. I'm also going to debone it. Now, this is a little bit of a process because I'm going to leave it in the liquid when I do this because that liquid is gold right now. And as you can see, you can pick that stuff out, and I'm picking the meat off of it as I go. The skin is falling off. That's why we put it in that water to boil. Now I got the tongs so that I can get it, and I'm just picking bones out. And you can pick up the meat. Quite honestly, the meat that are still on the bones that you're seeing put over there, don't worry, it's not going to waste. So don't be like you're not taking all the meat off. I'm eating that stuff while the soup is finishing cooking. I'm going to be snacking on that meat. So I'm going to be cleaning those bones off. But this is the way that I'm doing it. If you want to take it out of the pot and put it on a cutting board or in a bowl or something, you can. I'm just not doing that step, and I'm doing it this way. In total, I believe it took me about 10 minutes to completely take the bones out and get all the skin out of that. I don't have any kids around, so I wasn't worried about having residual bones because there's no kids for anybody to choke on. So it's fine. You can do it either way that you want to do it. It's your way, so there is no wrong way. Now, while you're taking the skin off and deboning it, also start taking your tongs and fork and start breaking up that meat a little bit so that it's not in such the big chunks. I don't like mine shredded, but I do like big chunks of meat. And also look for that bay leaf and take that bay leaf out because you don't want to eat it. Now, for me with my soup, I like my soup meaty, more meaty than noodles or even rice. You could actually do this with rice and not noodles, but I still am very meat forward. Notice we use the entire rotisserie chicken, not parts of it, the entire thing. The wings are actually in there as well because I want more meat than anything. You'll see in the final product how much meat is actually in there. Now, as I'm stirring this up, because I've got it all deboned and the skin off and everything, the meat's broken up, I'm realizing I want more liquid. So I have some chicken broth that I had laying around, and I'm pouring the entire box of chicken broth in there because I like juices and broth in there because it helps my throat. Again, you can still hear it in my voice. My voice is still a little bit gone. And then after we do that, taste it, guys. I always emphasize taste as you cook. You know then if you need more seasoning. I'm happy with mine, so looky there. I'm getting my no yolk noodles in there. Use whatever noodles you want. You can use rice. And I'm dumping the whole bag in there. It seems like a lot, but it's not because that's a really big pan. I'm stirring it up, getting all those noodles in that liquid, putting the lid on, and I'm just letting it cook for just a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to stir it a little bit more, and then I'm going to go on and put my broccoli. That's my vegetable of choice. Yes, it's an odd choice. I already know that, but try it. You would be surprised on how well it complements the chicken noodle soup. Now, I also am putting a little bit more water in there because I want to keep the broth level high and I want to make sure I can get the broccoli to the water. So that's why I got the tongs so I could turn it a little bit more. Keep in mind, you're still cooking your soup. My fire is still on medium high, so I decided to add some more water because I want broth. Always taste it after you add water because you might need to add more seasoning. Mine is perfect. I put the lid on. I'm cooking it for 5 more minutes. Here is my final result. As you can see, I like big chunks of meat in mine, so I didn't make it like shredded or anything. Okay, so normally I would take you to the tasting table, but I just don't feel like going to the table because I'm going to get comfortable on my couch because, as I said, I don't feel well. And see if you can see this. Look at this. This is nice. I like my soup chunky. I've got plenty of the broth in there so that I can drink it and help my throat a little bit more. My meat is still chunky. I use the entire chicken. I will freeze whatever I don't eat. Excuse me. My brother's coming into town, so this would be good for him to eat. I know he's gonna be like, it's so hot outside still. It's fall technically, so I'm in soup season. You guys know how I love my soup. You'll see more. But let's just give this a taste. This is marvelous. That rotisserie taste of it is so good. That's why I left the skin on it, and you saw me take that skin off later on because that flavor and seasoning is on the skin of that chicken, and I wanted it to get into my broth. Here's the broccoli. I do apologize again for my voice, guys. It's nobody else here but me, so it's okay. And then my brother's going to be here. Nobody else is eating this. Mm, this is so good. This is going to knock the rest of that sickness right out of me. So I hope you guys try this recipe. It's a good fast recipe. Takes half the time it would take to make normally. So please try this. Tell me, did it work for you? Because it worked for me. And hopefully next week you're going to hear me with a clear voice. And so until next time, love with your heart, cook with your soul. My name is Nina.